Hi, I'm Stephanie Hollingshead, CEO at HR Tech Group, and I have Ilya Brotzsky, founder and CEO of VanHack, joining me to talk about hiring internationally. So thanks for chatting with me, Ilya.
My pleasure. Excited to be here.
So if I can state the obvious, we are in an incredibly competitive job market for technology roles, and it can be extremely hard to recruit tech talent these days, especially software developers. HR Tech Group just released our annual salary survey, and yet again, software developer was the number one most difficult to recruit job. So tech companies they're looking further and further afield for talent, and we are going to get a scoop from Ilya about recruiting internationally. But before we do that, Ilya, can you tell us what VanHack does?
Definitely. So VanHack is a global platform for tech talent who's looking to get hired anywhere, work from anywhere, to either that be remote jobs, relocation jobs, or both, a combination of the two, allowing companies to hire really great senior talent and more diverse talent quickly.
So are companies hiring internationally right now in the middle of this global pandemic?
Yeah, actually, they're hiring, I would say, more internationally than ever before because everyone is remote by default. So even if you live in the same city, most of the time, or for I think almost everyone, you're all still on the same kind of communication methods, Zoom, Slack, etc. So there's really not too big of a difference between someone in let's say Calgary or Vancouver versus someone in Caracas or Sao Paulo. Maybe there's some time zone challenges here or there, but the relocation process is really easy. It takes only 2-3 months. And companies' kind of willingness to have people who they've never met before in real life, or I guess physically, has gone up. And at the same time, because COVID has led to so much digital transformation and need to have a really strong tech products and digital products for consumers and enterprises, the demand for tech talent has gone up. So there really almost isn't a choice because there's just so much demand for tech talent, and you have to find it anywhere you can.
Hmm. So what's compelling them to hire internationally then?
Well, yeah, I think it's just is that like if you post a job for a software developer and you're only limiting yourself to, let's say, the less than 1% of software engineers in the world that are in Vancouver, well, there you go. You're competing with all Silicon Valley companies who are hiring internationally. You're competing with also all of US, all of Canada, and just for a very, very finite level of people, maybe what 5, 6, 7,000 developers who are in just one city. And so companies, I think, realize that it's not as hard as you think. And there's a lot of really great talent out there. Also, 40% of the tech workers in Canada are immigrants themselves. So it's not like this new concept. Those people just happen to bring themselves here. Whereas now with the global talent stream visa, which is really not that old anymore, it's going to be 4 years, or it's over 4 years old now. It's never been easier to do that, to kind of hire internationally or hire from anywhere.
Wow, that is pretty compelling when you look at it that way. So retaining tech talent's a big concern right now. We're seeing scary stats in the media about how many people are wanting to change jobs, and we're seeing money being thrown around to hire key talent.
Hmm.
And I think a common perception is that hiring someone from another country is a bigger gamble than hiring someone domestically.
Hmm.
And VanHack, I think, has placed over 1,000 international hires. Is that correct?
Yeah, close to over 1,300 now.
Over 1,300. Holy smokes. So what's your experience with retention of international hires? What's actually happening?
Yeah, it's actually a really good point, and something that is actually for us, we've seen the complete opposite, and from what the initial perception is. It's actually from the first 100 hires we've had, the average tenure when we did the survey about a year ago was 2.7 years, and I believe that number is higher now, so 2 years and 9 months. And yeah, what we're seeing is when someone is hired by a company, and that company is the first one that's kind of almost taken a chance on that person or given them an opportunity, there's a loyalty there, where that the company gets from a candidate, where the candidate is grateful for this company. And also there's a little bit of friction with the work permit. The work permit is connected to the employer. It's not impossible and that hard to kind of switch out and get a new one, but candidates typically like to stick around. They like to grow. They like to get promoted. they've just made a huge life move across the world, and they're not really looking for another move anytime soon. So a lot of companies have this fear of, oh, this company is just going to use me to kind of come to Canada or come to immigrate and then leave. And we haven't seen that be the case at all. If anything, what we see is local candidates switching jobs a lot more often. And not that there's really too big of a difference between the two, but it's a lot easier for someone to just get hired, go across the street, or I guess go to a different Slack instance these days. Yeah, it's something that we've seen as a kind of a strength for international candidates that people sometimes don't think about.
That's interesting. Thank you. Do you think international hiring shifts a company's culture?
Yeah, big time. I think it's something that, especially these days where we're all kind of working in a global market, in terms of competing in software. If you're a SaaS company, you can be selling your software in every country. So you need to have that kind of mindset of being able to enter into the South American market or enter into the European market or different markets around the world, and having people from those places who speak those languages, know those cultures, really helps. And bringing in people like, for example, Traction on Demand, they were one of our first customers, and they've hired, I believe, 10 to 15 people from VanHack and probably another, 30, 40 people on their own, internationally, probably more. And they often talk about how kind of, that's been a huge culture add for them by having people from all these different places. And I believe Canada is, we're a nation of immigrants. I don't believe it's true, it's a fact. So you're just kind of adding more people from that mosaic that we have. So yeah, I think it's a huge culture benefit, and it's something really cool to say. We have, for example, for VanHack, we have people from, I think, 13 or 14 countries. We speak 20 languages. I'm not sure exactly the latest stats. We've hired some people recently, and that's really fun. You have something different, and you kind of have people with a more open mind on your team that allows you to build products and create solutions for a global audience.
Wow. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Any final tip or tidbit that you'd like to share?
Well, I think two kind of things that they're related. One is, don't be scared of hiring, from abroad. It's almost the exact same thing as hiring someone locally or someone from another city. Someone coming from the East Coast, for example. It's really not too big of a difference. The paperwork and stuff it's not too hard. And another thing is, if you don't do it, someone else will, and they'll build a better product than you and grow their business faster. So you're kind of, there's the carrot and the stick in a way. If all the big, kind of fast growing tech companies are doing it, there's a reason for it. So I would kind of dip your toes into the water, do some homework, and give it a chance. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of food for thought, and certainly it's some challenging challenges of some assumptions there. So thank you so much, Ilya. And thank you everyone for listening to our interview with Ilya Brotzsky. It's vanhack.com if you want to check them out.
Yeah, my pleasure, Stephanie. Last thing I'll say is that the most borders are something we create in our minds. They're within us. So if we kind of can get over those in our heads, I think we'll have a much better company, culture, and business. So yeah, thanks for this video. It's really, really fun.
Well said. Thank you.